Hi everyone, I want to share some information with the people of Great Britain in light of the current turmoil enveloping their country. England was once ruled by the Plantagenet royal family. The Windsor royal family has claimed that it is descended from John of Gaunt and Catherine Swynford. But what if I told you that after the discovery of the skeletal remains of King Richard III under a car park in Leicester, England, and 2 years of DNA testing were completed, scientists can now confirm that the Windsor claim is false? The false paternity event surrounding John of Gaunt refers to a genetic break in the direct male line ancestry of the Plantagenet dynasty. This means somewhere along the paternal line, a child was fathered by someone outside the recorded royal family, casting historical doubt on the legitimacy of several English monarchs. Because the Y chromosome is passed exclusively from father to son, all of these men, members of the Somerset family, descended from the Dukes of Beaufort, should have had a nearly identical Y chromosome. However, the testing showed no match between Richard III's DNA and the living descendants of John of Gaunt. Because Gaunt's son, Henry IV, claimed the throne, this genetic break questions the biological legitimacy of the Lancastrian kings, Henry IV, Henry V, Henry VI, and, by extension, the entire Tudor dynasty, starting with Henry VII. Also, most Britons today probably don't realise that their royal family changed its name from Saxe-Coburg-Gotha to Windsor at the start of World War I because of the anti-German sentiment of the British people. Most British people alive today don't realise that the British monarch at the start of World War I was King George V. Believe it or not, King George V and Germany's Kaiser Wilhelm were cousins. Both of their grandmothers were Queen Victoria. Why did England have Germans sitting on its throne? The Act of Settlement of 1701 banned all non-Protestants from succeeding the throne. The British Parliament passed this act, which was religious discrimination then, and it remains religious discrimination to this day. How did England become Protestant? King Henry VIII wanted to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. When the Pope refused, Henry established the Church of England, making himself the head of the Church. He used Parliament to make that happen. In 1714, King George I of the House of Hanover, Germany, succeeded to the throne of England. George could hardly speak any English, and spent much of his time in Germany fighting his country's wars. The current monarch and royal family are descended from King George I and the House of Hanover. How did England steer itself so far away from its original royal family? Let's meet Lady Caroline Whitbeck. Lady Caroline Whitbeck is descended from over 120 kings and queens from Europe and Scandinavia. 30,000 professional genealogists and historians worked tirelessly for 2 years, using DNA scientists and the Vatican archives to validate her direct maternal line. Her mitochondrial DNA carries the matching markers back to Poppa of Bayeux, wife of King Rollo, and far beyond. Further historical biblical research confirmed that Lady Caroline Whitbeck is descended from Joseph bin Matat, also known as Joseph of Arimathea, the uncle of Virgin Mary. Lady Whitbeck received correspondence from King Harold V of Norway and Pope Francis himself, congratulating her for the discovery. Many monarchs of the House of Hanover have claimed direct descent from the House of David as a way to legitimise themselves. Queen Victoria paid the equivalent of £10 million to have her family tree constructed. She thought the throne was her divine right. The DNA testing clearly shows. The modern Windsor royal family clearly isn't descended from John of Gaunt and Catherine Swynford, described as a false paternity event. The UK Parliament, of its own accord, took steps to remove all non-Protestants from the throne of England. In 1701, they enacted the Act of Settlement. The Church of England, not wanting to lose its grip on England, helped crush any dissenters. The Tudor claim to the crown wasn't succession, it was by conquest. They killed King Richard III in battle. King Richard III's sister's unbroken line of living descendants provided DNA that confirmed all of this. The line of succession should have gone to Plantagenet descendants, particularly those who can show unbroken lineage back to the House of David, not to the Tudors and not to the House of Hanover. Lady Caroline Whitbeck is that descendant.